Hey guys, Scriptripper here with another video. I wanted to touch on just the continued insanity. The Star Wars fandom is just wild. And I don't know if it's any different in any other fandom. I'm sure it's not. Human beings are human beings. I think the internet has made people much more emboldened to comment and say certain things than they would if the internet did not exist. But it's just wild. And so we all know about this letter to YouTube that Molly Damon posted. And if you don't know who Molly Damon is, this is the Star Wars Explained channel. And her husband, in my opinion, sort of, they do some explaining things where they like talk about, you know, maybe some lore or gadgets or aliens or whatever. But they also do an awful lot of what I would dub fake critiquing. So when they talk about shows, for instance, The Acolyte, they basically just talk about how great everything is, and you can kind of tell there's not really a real critique happening. It's just kind of them shilling, essentially. And they get a lot of merchandise, and they get, you know, tickets to premieres, and they get access to people within Lucasfilm. I personally don't understand why that makes certain people really mad. I think it's funny. I think it's kind of pathetic. But at the end of the day, I don't get angry over it. It is what it is. And I think there's clearly a market for that. There's people, like I've always said, that no matter what Disney put out, would love it. And I'm not just even talking shows that are making money off of it or whatever. I'm just talking about people in general. There are people out there that anything Star Wars, it doesn't matter, is amazing. And they don't think about it critically, and that's okay. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. I think it's kind of silly. I think it's kind of childish. But it's okay. You know, everyone's entitled to do whatever they want. And so there is a market for that. And there's a bunch of shills that sort of those fans gravitate towards. Now, I've said before, that's why if you're Disney, screwing with the old fans is such a huge mistake, because these people that just love it no matter what, they would have loved it no matter what. You know, so you didn't have to put, you know, another Virgins in the Force and these twin girls being born before Anakin, and you didn't need to have Yoda covering up Sith and the Jedi being essentially idiots. You could have done anything and those people would have accepted it and loved it. But you alienated a huge portion of your fan base for literally no reason. There was no reason to do that. It was just dumb. Because again, those people are going to be there no matter what, those other people. It doesn't matter what you do. You could have a literal turd with a lightsaber and they'll get excited. So, having said that, the discourse online and the amount of anger you see on both sides is really crazy to me. Because you guys know me. Like, obviously, I comment on stuff. Obviously, I'm going to, once in a while, I'm going to make fun of somebody, like Suggs or somebody else. But I generally don't get into that. There's no point on Twitter going into some shill's account and commenting and going and blabbing on. I'm just not into it. It's just, I have other things to do. So, but I did go on the Star Wars feed or whatever, and this incident with Molly Damon putting out this letter trying to get a bunch of channels demonetized that are larger than her. That's the other thing that's kind of telling. And then mentioning Star Wars Theory as well, who's obviously the biggest channel, has really just like, as divided as the Star Wars fandom was after the sequels, after The Last Jedi, after The Rise of Skywalker, and then after these shows have been coming out, and then The Acolyte really divided people like crazily. Now with this, it's just reached a fever pitch where people are jumping to victimhood. People are making claims about people that are just like totally incensed and really bad. And I'm just like, holy moly, man, you guys calm down. It's Star Wars. Like, these are grown people, like, swearing at each other and going crazy and calling each other names over the fact that Disney makes crappy Star Wars. Like, it's wild to me. So here's one here. So this is right after tweeted this letter that she apparently had sent to YouTube, or I guess, whatever, it's on Twitter, YouTube's going to see it. I've come to realize Molly and Star Wars Explained, Alex, who supposedly needs his wife to do everything, are just extremely toxic and jealous of other more successful Star Wars channels, so they make stuff up. I hope they get the SH sued out of them. Positivity, yeah. Okay. I would really question her motivation for this. Why did you do this? Did you really think that, like, getting those channels shut down would make people that like those channels go over to you? Because you're, like, the total opposite. Like, you shill. Those channels make fun of it. So, this whole thing is so bizarre. I don't understand why this even was done at all. And, of course, YouTube rejected it. We all know that. The messages and emails are from 2006 to 2018. Everything Alex said was praising him for his work. We haven't spoken to him since then. Sad, embarrassing behavior just to drive hate and get clicks. This is in reference to Star Wars Theory's reading of several emails from Alex from back in the day, kind of asking him, you know, why he's so popular, if he has any secrets or whatever. I mean, I don't know his motivation with that either. It could have been totally innocent. I do kind of get the vibes from those emails that it was more than that it was like, you know, trying to get Theory to promote him or something like that to try and boost his channel, which, again, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just, it's kind of corny. It's kind of corny. But if you haven't spoken to him in that length of time, why did you put him in this letter, Molly? You know, this is the whole part of this that really bothers me. Like, if she had called all those channels and said, guys, like, I'm kind of feeling like you guys are taking it too far and you're getting kind of starting to attack people or whatever, and, you know, it's getting to the point where I might have to just send something to YouTube just asking them to, like, take a look into this, because it is really bothering me. Like, if she had sent that as a message to Gary or Jeremy or Star Wars Theory or whoever, I think you could have had a reasonable discourse. I don't think those guys are going to be like, F you. I think they probably would have responded with, like, hey, like, what is it that we did that is bothering you? And, you know, let's talk about this or whatever, right? So when you don't do that and you just appeal to YouTube to get them demonetized, you're kind of exposing yourself as you're not playing fair. You know what I mean? You're not humanizing the situation. You're just saying, screw these guys, I want them demonetized. And again, I don't understand the motivation, because no one watching those guys is going to go to your channel. You're a shill channel. Like, the videos of theirs that I have watched, I've watched because it's funny, because they're making fun of what I think was a dumb show or a dumb decision by Lucasfilm. So I just don't understand this is such a weird situation, and the fandom is so divided now. Thank you for all the love and support over the past few days. It really means a lot. I never started any sort of campaign. I just agreed with and shared 2 images that were created and shared first by another podcast who I guess want to remain anonymous in all this. That's another problem. Who's this podcast? If this was done by somebody other than Molly, why don't they man up and don't let her take all this heat? If that's true. Who are these people that are just letting her get bashed and getting dragged through the mud, and they don't want to stand up and say anything? Now, I'm not saying she doesn't deserve that. I'm just saying, why wouldn't you, if she's your friend, why are you allowing this to happen without any involvement? You must be the biggest loser ever. You are a loser, whoever you are. You are the biggest loser. Your friend her career is now probably going to get ruined, or at least be greatly diminished off of this. I know they've lost a whole pile of subs. I don't know how many. I don't have time to. You guys, let me know in the comments section. But you would allow your friend's career to get, you know, that much negativity, and you're just sitting on the sidelines not saying anything? It's supposed to be your friend? I think Molly should just say who it is, because this isn't a very friendly thing to do. Letting her take all the heat when you wrote it. Either that or she's making that up. And I suspect she's probably making that up, because she doesn't want to take the full blame. She wants to pretend that she didn't do it. That's my guess. But if there is someone out there and they're letting this go like this, I think she's nuts. If they exist, she needs to just say who it is. Like, honestly, why wouldn't you? Because they obviously don't care about you, because they're letting you take all the heat for it. Anyway, I had a great workout today. The weather is finally cooling off and the pumpkin spice is flowing. Nothing can ruin my fall vibes. She's pretending that this isn't bothering her, what's going on. And it surely is. But whatever. I mean, people deal with this. These jerks are obsessed with me. Ha ha ha. It doesn't bother me. There's none of this bothers me. I don't know. It bothered you enough to post this stupid letter? Like, so, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it does. Here's Suggs again, this guy. Oh, it's just... He's so corny. Narcissistic behavior. I think he's responding here to Star Wars Theory. who called it narcissistic behavior, posting this letter and all this stuff. Narcissistic behavior shouts the person that so many people online sided against yesterday that there was a Twitter moment. So he's saying the shills rose up against him, created a Twitter moment. Like, this, you're grown adults. Like, we rose up against him and created a Twitter moment. You sound like a 13-year-old. It's just, I'm sorry, man. Maybe I'm too old, but like, this is just so corny and like childish to me. It's funny though. It's funny. Like, honestly, like, as an onlooker, watching this go down is hilarious. Not to mention that they were barely mentioned in the original graphic shared. No, but they were mentioned, Jacob. They were. Star Wars Theory was mentioned. He has every right to defend himself. They lumped him in with the other guys. And they only mentioned the other guys once too. So everybody got mentioned once, including Theory. He has every right to defend himself. 100%. Trying to get his channel demonetized? What are you talking about? What if that was somebody doing that to you, Jacob? You'd be pretty mad if somebody was trying to get you demonetized. Like, come on, dude. That's not, again, this is so childish. Not to mention that they were barely mentioned in the original graphics shared, not created by the creator this individual is attacking. They have to keep mentioning that Molly didn't do it. It was somebody else in the ether. Well, where are they? There's no one else to attack but her because she posted it and there's no one else there. So until they expose themselves and show themselves, she's going to take the heat. If they even exist, which they probably don't. It's probably just her. The creator made this more about themselves than anyone else ever did. He's mentioned in the letter. What are you talking about? He didn't make it about himself. They did. If he wasn't in the letter, he probably wouldn't even have mentioned it. He would have let the other three guys go after them, and I doubt he even would have brought it up on his channel. Honestly, I sincerely doubt that he would have even brought it up. Maybe as like an onlooker being like, whoa, look at this. This is crazy. But he's defending himself because he's in the letter, dude. Literally is just yapping to be heard by this point. Absolutely embarrassing behavior. And you're commenting on it is embarrassing yourself, buddy. Also weird to make an entire post apologizing for sexist remarks earlier this year, only to turn around a few weeks later and attack one of the largest female creators in the fandom that barely mentioned you. No, but she did mention him, though. What is wrong with people, man? You guys are like little kids. It's so weird. I blocked Star Wars Theory a long time ago, and I am infinitely better for it. So I'm not even entirely sure what's going on, but I'll add my small voice to everyone defending Molly and Star Wars Explained. Wonderful, kind people who are really the best of us. Water off a duck's back. Amen, she says. So I don't know if this Dan Rader guy like knows them personally, or he just says they're wonderful people based on their channel. Whatever. This guy. Well, you can take what you will from that. Okay. I have no idea what is going on in the fandom, and that's okay. I don't want to know. Then why are you commenting on it? But I love Star Wars Explained and Molly Damon. They are super special people and run a fantastic YouTube channel. Okay, well, I mean, again, like I said, there's a market for shills. I mean, they make okay money. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get the... Okay, so who's this guy? Daniel Jose. New York Times best-selling author of Ballad and Dagger. A story architect for Star Wars The High Republic. Okay. And again, you're when you're a shill and you get to the level they're at, you know, these people are your buddies with them, whatever. Like, who cares? It's just funny, the High Republic. Oh, the High Republic. Geode! And then you get a bunch of these people, yeah. And Molly reposted a ton of the support, which is kind of interesting, I guess, because it's like she really wants people that go to her page to see all the support. Not something I would do, but I mean, you guys, I don't do a lot of retweeting anyway. I try to keep my tweets pretty original, but like this to me is just kind of corny, whatever. I don't spend enough time watching Star Wars YouTube or whatever YouTube, but I appreciate the work done by Molly and I love their enthusiasm, pedagogy, and what more could you ask for when you're a Star Wars fan? This guy, I've spent numerous hours with them on and off camera. I can confidently say that there isn't anyone better, more positive. And these guys are just whatever accounts. The Space Shipper's like a pretty big nerd account, I guess. And again, Molly reposted. She reposted a lot. Like, there's more here. Reposting. So the idea that she's just laid back and doesn't care, like those earlier tweets, like, oh, I don't care, ha ha ha, it's no big deal. These jerks are obsessed with me. You know, I don't care. You do. You do. You're not reposting every single person that said something nice about you because you don't care. Right? You care. And that's okay. Nobody's, you know, no one's saying that you shouldn't care. Of course you care. It's interesting that several of them say they don't really watch YouTube, but they love them. Okay, whatever. I mean, I don't know. It lacks a little bit of authenticity there, but whatever. Do you think anything less of them is rather absurd? I'm lucky to have gotten to know them over the years. And again, there's a lot of people that just want to hear nothing but positive vibes, and that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Lord, this guy does not like me. It's full of useful information without the BS that Star Wars theory engages in. And this is the thing too, like, as soon as he had defended himself from them wanting to demonetize him, take away his livelihood, he defends himself, and then all of the shills, like this guy and all these people have come out of the woodwork now, and Star Wars theory is a piece of crap, and blah, 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 blah. Theory, you know, negatively critiqued a lot of the Disney Star Wars stuff the last couple of years, but he didn't get into, like, personal stuff with anybody until they came after him. He doesn't really do that. It's very rare, if at all. So I don't get it. It's like acting like an adult versus acting like an entitled child. Well, this post is childish. Nia is a grown man. He's a grown man child. Dude has no character. Star Wars theory needs a pimp slap. It sounds like you're like 13. All you need to know too is most likely Nia has a personality disorder because he released years of personal emails between himself and Alex as a form of punishment. Imagine what Nia does to his partner. Oof. See, that's... Where is this fandom going, man? He literally read emails that he interprets as Alex being... His number one thing is views and money. That's his interpretation of those emails. I'm not going to go through them again. They're in my previous video. You guys can see them. There's screenshots of them. You can Google them. And you can draw your own conclusions of whether or not you think Star Wars theory's interpretation is correct or not. But at the end of the day, he's talking about it because he's saying these people want him demonetized because they're jealous of him. Look, even going back years ago, they contacted me because they're trying to get more views and get more money, and that's all they care about. That is in response. That didn't happen for no reason. He's responding to their actions. So enough of this, like, oh, whoa, poor them. Why is theory saying this about them? They started it. Like, it's a reaction. It's not like he's like just out of nowhere started reading these emails. It was a reaction. What is wrong with these people? I think Star Wars Theory and Star Wars Explained should record some diss tracks and settle their beef in the studio. See, this is what we need more of. You know, instead of like this guy personally attacking him and calling him and saying he implying that he abuses his partner in some way, right? That's the implication there. That's a pretty bad thing to say, man. We need more of this. Just funny. Say, you know, we're taking things way too seriously. Star Wars Explained tries to demonetize theory. My response: there's so much more I have to say about all of these people. I have held my tongue for 8 years, and believe me when I say this is just scratching the surface. And he does go into some stuff about some of the other people and, you know, cab rides with them and different things. What this has really done, I think part of the reason the shills are so mad is because he did expose that, like, their priorities do seem to be money first. And some of the other stories he talks about in that video do reflect that. And, you know, they want access, they want the merch, and they want to be involved with the company. And the way to do that is to shill, not to be real critics, it's to shill. And again, fine, do it. But Star Wars Theory knows that, and again, he's reacting to what you did. He didn't just do this out of nowhere. So Prophet of Simp says, so they didn't write the post, just shared it, but since Theory is saying Star Wars Explained wrote, it isn't that libel and defamatory. Well, they represent it, right? They can claim they didn't write it till the cows come home, but they haven't proved that they didn't write it, and they posted it. So they're responsible for it. Whoever else this other person is, who I think is probably fake, they didn't post it, so they're not responsible for it, for it being out in the public sphere. Molly is. She's the one who posted it. So it really doesn't even matter if she wrote it or not. She represents it. Like, from a legal perspective, she's representing that that document because she's the one who's putting it out there. And if this so-called guy wants to come out and say he did it, that would be really nice, but I have a feeling he doesn't exist. And then he gets Suggs back in it again with his new avatar, which is just corny. It's corny. It's really funny how a certain Star Wars YouTuber thinks he's doing no wrong and isn't spewing hate, yet almost everyone else on the internet outside of his following is calling him out for the same problematic behavior every single week. Well, yeah, because you guys are jealous. You guys are jealous. You didn't say a word about him until he started getting critical of Star Wars. And that bothers you because his channel's really, really big. And your shill channels, and your pride took a hit. Because he's critical now, and he's got a huge following. Oh no. What do we do? Every creator has these trash bags in their fandoms. Theory can't be responsible for their actions, especially when he preaches the opposite in every video. And then Cal could turn, nah, my community is full of wonderful, positive people because that's the vibe we worked hard to build. It probably helps my videos are actually about Star Wars, not weird diary entries crying about slights and grievances. Buddy, Theory was doing Star Wars content long before you were even on the internet. Come on. Are you kidding me? The guy spent, what did he spend on his fan film? Like $1 million? You think he doesn't care about Star Wars? And he's spending another $1 million on another one? What are you talking about? I'm not saying, everything about Star Wars Theory's channel is my cup of tea either, but the idea that he's not doing Star Wars content, that's literally all he does. And this is, I think, in response to what we're going to talk about now real quick here. So this is Paul Tassie's, part of Paul Tassie's article in Forbes. I've read a couple of Paul Tassie's articles and put in my own investigative 2 cents into them. He's generally quite positive about what Disney Lucasfilm is doing. And so some of the stuff he says I think is kind of dumb, and I comment on it and stuff. But whatever, I mean, everybody's got an opinion, right? The YouTuber side of this has escalated thanks to Star Wars Theory. And he's talking about the conflict in the fandom. The largest Star Wars fan channel on the internet, who has been the frequent centerpiece of what is viewed as the toxic part of the fandom. Theory also constantly bashed the Acolyte with the usual "it's the bad writing and breaks canon" claims, though it's a long pattern of him moving on from focused Star Wars lore discussion to lambasting much of what Disney has produced. What you have to understand, though, is that Star Wars Theory cares about the lore. So he's going to talk about the Acolyte when it's breaking the lore, because he cares. And it's not a claim. They did. That's not a claim. The Jedi covering up the Sith is now official canon. We know in The Phantom Menace they say there's 1,000 years of no Sith, there's 1,000 years of peace. And because these dummies did the Acolyte in the middle of a peacetime timeline, which makes absolutely no sense to have Sith Lords and everything, it breaks lore. And now Yoda's a liar. Yoda's gonna cover it up. Because the Jedi on Coruscant don't know about it. Ki-Adi-Mundi's covering it up. Yes! The Sith weren't supposed to be seen for 1,000 years and they did it anyway. So it broke lore. What's Theory supposed to do? Not comment on it? That's what his channel's about. You guys, he's allowed to have an opinion on this crappy show. But they just say, no, you're not allowed. Unless you're being positive, you're not allowed. It's ridiculous. And then Star Wars Theory has responded to Paul and been like, dude, what are you talking about? And then this apparently showed up in his text messages. According to Paul Tassi, this showed up on his text messages. This could be anybody. This could be a burner phone that he bought and then sent himself a message. We have no idea. I'm not saying he did that, but we don't know. So this is not a win. Hey, Real Star Wars Theory, what kind of community have you cultivated here exactly? How did you get this number? How do I know he didn't just go buy a burner phone and do this to himself to post this? Has anyone investigated into that phone number at the top there? Right? I mean, did you call the police, Paul, and find out who this person was or anything like that? I mean, have you... No, you just posted it on Twitter to go after Star Wars Theory. And again, much like I don't think there's this guy that actually wrote that letter, I think Molly probably did. I think you probably did this. Because I think you guys are that petty. You guys are that petty that you would do something like that. I honestly do. I think you did it. I don't know that for a fact, but I think you did it. Star Wars Theory refuses to take accountability for his actions, uses his platform to promote hate, and emboldens his fans to harass people. Exhibit A. So now he's getting blamed for this supposed text sent to Paul. He's getting blamed because he said the Acolyte sucks and breaks lore. Like, he's responsible for this supposed person. Like, it's some random guy. Like, come on. It's, again, we're like children. It's Star Wars. What is going on in this fandom? Is this or anything else people have posted? If this or anything else people have posted is not enough to convince you that these people are not Star Wars fans, but are unhinged bigots, then report this video. Yes, I'm asking you all to take a stand. This was inciting hate against a person for absolutely no reason. I don't think it was inciting hate. I do think it was kind of a boring video. I watched about 3/4 of it. Who cares? It's just, yeah, Molly's a shill, blah, blah, blah. I just don't care. But again, people are gonna talk. If you're gonna put yourself out there, people are gonna respond to you. That's how it works in life. A journalist is receiving death threats from people citing your videos as their source, and this is your response. Grow up and take some responsibility. Is he talking about Paul? Because where's the death threats? Show us the receipts. Bro wants his money. I don't have to link garbage writers. Yeah, because this guy's mad. Somebody was mad that he mentioned Paul but didn't put a link in the video for his article. So what? You know how easy it is to find that stuff? Some guy gave me crap because I didn't put Star Wars Theory's link to his video when I found one of his videos that was super funny about the food eating on Star Wars Outlaws the other day. Well, you think it's hard to find his video? Like, come on. That's getting a little rich. You think he can't find his article on Forbes? You gotta put the link. Give me a break. Bro wants his money. I don't have to link garbage writers. Do you link my videos when you spread lies? The last video was the intro to you. The next one is about your article on Forbes agreeing with the deplatforming of me and others and spreading full of lies. You're a trash journalist and you will be exposed. You couldn't just leave me alone. I had to write a full-on article in Forbes about me being the most toxic YouTuber. You even lie and I catch you on it. All will see. Journalists like you are the same problem today. Now I will respond. This is just the start of me responding to all of you for the abuse you've thrown at me for 8 long years of my silence. Funny thing is, I don't have to lie like you. I just have to hold the mirror up to your face so the world sees the truth. This is like, this whole thing, going after Theory and these big channels has just completely, the fandom is like exploding. What were you thinking, you guys? Maybe that's what you wanted. Is you had nothing to talk about, and so you needed content, and so you put out this letter, and then now you got stuff to talk about. Star Wars fans, I love Star Wars. I'm such a huge fan of the movies and story. Complaints. Yeah, like, this is where we're at now. Sorry guys, I missed this. This is his response. Paul Tassi, I just went into the police station, filing a report about a guy texting me threats citing your last video directly. I would not continue down this road. What does that mean, though? So you're a cop and some guy goes, this guy sent me this thing calling me an FAG, and he says he did that because he watched a Star Wars Theory video. And then you're the cop, and you're, okay, what's the video? And then you watch it, and you're like, what does this have to do with calling you names? Absolutely crazy. Okay, so what is this? Lily, I know her, she's nice. You could have left him alone a long time ago, and yet here you still are. I didn't realize things had gotten this out of hand. Not sure why on earth folks are freaking about Star Wars stuff. Exactly! It's wild the lengths you'll go because a YouTuber has a larger audience than you ever will. And the craziest part is the success is from being genuine, something unfathomable to you. Nobody believes you did this. The cops as soon as you walk out. Yeah, like, bro, like, what are they going to do? Paul, can I call you Paul? How jealous would you say you are that he achieved a greater level of success than you without the backing of a multi-million-dollar propaganda machine, with 0 being marginally jealous and 10 being extremely jealous? This is getting pathetic. Bet the cops laughed at you. Why would he assume you would take time to fake them is beyond me. Why are you such a beta? And who is the at Forbes that pays you for your opinions? I mean, man up and get some... This is just... What is happening? These people are so mad. It's Star Wars. What is happening? I'll take things that never happened for 200, please. All really crazy how all this came from you liking a show he didn't. Crazy fan bases are scary. Oh no, a text. Exactly, that's my thoughts. Anyways, guys, so yeah, this goes on and on and on. This is just... It's just going crazy. It's just going crazy. What is happening? So that's it, guys. The Star Wars fandom is a complete mess. As an onlooker, I think it's funny, but also sad. I don't know. I don't know. I stopped commenting on any shill stuff a long time ago because all they do is freak out. Like, Jacob blocked me because he would make tweets saying, this was one of the best lightsaber duels in the history of Star Wars. And he would do like a ton of those, right? Fine, whatever. Like, he'd just do all these ones where it's just everything's the best ever. And then I would ask him why. Why? Why is it the best ever? If it is, it is. That's cool, man. But, like, why is it? And he would never respond. And then finally he just blocked me. And I think that's a big part of it, too. It's like the shill accounts just want it all to be rainbows and unicorns and everything's wonderful. And that's okay. In your world, that could be the case. But the rest of the critical sites like us are always looking at it from a, okay, is this making sense? Does it follow the lore? Is it good? And does it do honor to the IP? And we break that down. And so you have two really, really opposing sides. One that is critical and is desperately looking for something good that they can say, hey, that's actually good and here's why. And the other side that just wants to say everything's good with literally no explanation as to why it's good. And those two sides are clashing now because of this thing at an insane level. They've always clashed, but it's gotten to the point now where it's just nuts. But it's fun to watch, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like, subscribe. Always helps the channel. Check anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.